Ladies and gentlemen, today we're looking at plants and photosynthesis. By the end of this session, I expect all of you to be able to do the following three things. Describe how leaves are adapted for their function. Use a microscope correctly to observe stomata. Actually, I'll take that back. Can't do that one. But you definitely should be able to do the last one. Explain how features enable the leaf to do its job. Now, before we start, we need to follow some basic principles which will help you to engage and focus. Turn off your phone, put it in another room. Don't have any other tabs open on your computer, guys. Answer all the questions, okay? Feel free to pause the video whenever you need to. Always rewind, listen again if you are not sure. And finally, don't give up. Honestly, don't give up. Keep going. Before we start, I need you to answer these 5 questions just to find out what you already know, what you remember, and where we need to be. Okay? So pause the video and answer these questions. Using green pen, you need to assess the answers you have written down for these questions. Do that now. Now, the job of a leaf is to carry out photosynthesis. That is it. That is the reason why plants have leaves. Okay? And to do this photosynthesis, a plant needs basic reactants such as carbon dioxide, water and light. The light energy is used to provide energy for the combination of carbon dioxide and water to take place to produce glucose and oxygen. Now, because photosynthesis takes place in leaves do have special features that allow them to get things done so that photosynthesis can take place as efficiently as possible. Now have a look at the leaf on this slide, and I want you to think about the following things. I mean, how do plants get water from the roots to the leaf? After all, water is one of the main reactants in photosynthesis. How is the leaf designed to catch as much sunlight as possible? Where does carbon dioxide come from to get into the leaf? How does it get into the leaf from the air? And finally, the glucose that's produced, where does it go? Does it stay in the leaf? Have a think. Leaves have several features which allow them to carry out photosynthesis as efficiently as possible. The first one is leaves tend to have a broad, flat shape, and this is designed to absorb the maximum amount of sunlight. These also contain veins. Now, these veins are designed to carry water from the stem to the leaf itself, and then once glucose is produced, to take that glucose via the veins to the rest of the plant. The plant cells contain many chloroplasts in there, which also contain chlorophyll. Now, this green chlorophyll pigment is designed to absorb energy from the sunlight. The bottom of the leaf contains many holes, tiny holes called stomata. This is so that carbon dioxide can enter and oxygen, once it is produced by photosynthesis, can leave. The stomata are also designed to close whenever there's a lack of water. This stops the plant from wilting. A typical plant has the following features. Right at the top where the sunlight strikes it, we call this a cuticle. Okay, it's a waxy layer. It's waxy, so it's waterproof. And then below that we have the palisade layer. Now, it is these palisade layers which contain the bulk of our chloroplasts, our photosynthesis producing subcellular structures. And then below that you have a layer of loosely packed cells. We call this the spongy layer. The reason why they're loosely packed is so it allows the movement of gases such as carbon dioxide and oxygen. And on the bottom layer, as you can see, we have guard cells or holes called stomata. So this is where the carbon dioxide can come in or leave the plant, and oxygen as well. The diagram of this slide below shows some of the features of the underside of a leaf that can be seen using a microscope. Unfortunately, we're not in a classroom, so we can't do the practical for this, so just bear with me. What I want you to do is below is I want you to complete the sentences. Okay, copy and complete the sentences by circling the correct options. So pause the video and do this now. On this side we have 4 more sentences that I would like you to write out and circle the correct answers. Thank you. Using green pen, mark your work. So the first sentence should have read, "This is a guard cell." The second should have read, "It surrounds small holes called stomata, which are found on the underside of the leaf. Its role is to open and close these holes." Now on these ones, the hole is on the underside of the leaf, is called a stoma. When the hole is open, carbon dioxide diffuses into the leaf where it is used for photosynthesis. Water vapour and oxygen diffuse from the leaf out of the hole and into the surroundings. They are needed for photosynthesis. Now, if we had been in the classroom, we would have possibly undertaken this practical. Okay, this practical is designed to basically make an imprint of the stomata on the bottom of the leaf and then look at it under a microscope. Now, the method you would have used is the following. You would have taken a small square of, basically you would have taken a leaf and painted a small square of clear nail varnish on top of it. Then you would have allowed the square nail varnish to dry. You would have taken a strip of sellotape, put it over the nail varnish on the bottom, lift it up, bringing the nail varnish with it. Then you would have grabbed yourself a microscope slide, stuck the sellotape onto it and viewed it using a microscope. Click on the link and watch the video. This should reinforce what we have been looking at. Now there is a question, why are stomata only on the bottom of a leaf? Why are they not found on the top? What do you think? Pause the video, have a think before I give you the answer. Okay, so the answer is, if you have on the bottom of the leaf, so in warm weather, it minimises loss of water. That is it. If you have holes on top of the leaf, sun is beating down on it, temperature is, well, it's warm, evaporation will take place and the gaseous water will basically shoot out of the top of the leaf. But on the bottom, it's harder. I want you to get the required practice booklet and I want you to complete the questions, the first few questions in it. You have 10 minutes. Using green pen, mark, assess the work that you have just done. Okay, again, using green pen, assess the work that you have just done. Now finally guys, to finish this off, can you do the extension task? Okay, it's just to confirm that you know what you're doing, to confirm your progress, and also to give you a bit of practice of exam technique, which is always useful for your future GCSEs.